Hey guys, Mosa here, and today I'm bringing you my 2024 NFL mock draft pre-draft. Now, before I get started, I'm gonna announce right now that the next two videos will be my free agency recap videos. I was not able to upload them due to the reasons of the recording, but they will be uploaded most likely tomorrow. Well, at least one of them, and then the next day the other or the day after that. Then after the draft, I will do two videos, AFC and NFC, of the draft, analyzing every team's draft selections. Now, without a further ado, let's get started. Now, let's kick it off with the first overall pick, which we all know will be Caleb Williams, quarterback out of USC to the Chicago Bears. Now, they traded Justin Fields. No matter what happens, they're taking Caleb Williams. First overall, no doubt in my mind. There's absolutely nothing more to say. Caleb Williams, as of this moment, unofficially is a Chicago Bear. We're just waiting for when the commissioner goes up and announces it. But in the end, this is going to be a very good pick for the Chicago Bears, although I don't think he should start right away. There is an opportunity for him to be a potential Patrick Mahomes if they do the same thing that they did with Patrick Mahomes, as the Chiefs did. They started Alex Smith and then started him for the final game, and then he ended up becoming their starter for the rest of their time. I don't think he's going to have the same career as Pat Mahomes, but it is still a possibility. Now, with the second overall pick, the Washington Commanders select quarterback Drake May out of North Carolina. Now, obviously, it's going to be a quarterback. No doubt in my mind. It's either Jaden Daniels or Drake May. Either Drake May goes off here or Jaden Daniels goes off here while Drake May falls. Because honestly, these two are the two best quarterbacks other than Caleb Williams. And honestly, I'm seeing a very good Washington team if Drake May is the quarterback. Jaden Daniels, you could select him due to Cliff Kingsbury being their offensive coordinator. But in the end, I do not see that as a good option. You should take Drake May, and just like I said with Caleb Williams, bench him for the season, start him late in the year, and then next year, hopefully, he becomes your number one guy. Now, with the third overall pick, we got the New England Patriots trading the pick as they trade down with the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings give up their 11th overall pick and a few second rounders this year and 3 years from now, and 2 third rounders this year and next year, and maybe a 7th round pick this year, while the Patriots give up the 3rd overall pick and 2 6ths or 2 5ths. He won this year and won the next year. But without a further ado, the Minnesota Vikings select quarterback Jaden Daniels out of LSU. Now, the only reason I say Jaden Daniels is going to go 3rd overall is, well, if the Patriots are there, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. will be selected. But if the Vikings trade up, there's only one guy they're going to select, and that's Jaden Daniels. So I think this is going to be a very good pick for the Vikings. Take your future franchise quarterback. Don't lean on Sam Darnold. Obviously, don't start him right away. Maybe start Darnold. But just like I said with the first two, bench him and then start him when he's ready for football. And honestly, that might come sooner than the other two. But in the end, I think that the Vikings selecting Jaden Daniels will be the best option for their team. With the 4th overall pick, we got the Arizona Cardinals selecting Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver out of Ohio State. Now, there's one big reason why I'm taking Marvin Harrison Jr., 4th overall. He is the best wide receiver available, and Arizona needs wide receivers. So, why not take the best one available, have him on a 4-year contract and a 5th-year option if he's that good? And honestly, this is going to be a very good receiver for Kyler Murray, or depending on what happens in the future, if they trade him maybe next year or something. I don't know what's going to happen with Kyler Murray, but as long as you keep him upright and give him the weapons he needs, I think that this Arizona Cardinals team could be a force to be reckoned with. Now, on to the 5th overall pick, where we got the Los Angeles Chargers selecting Rome Odunze, wide receiver out of Washington. Now, this is pretty obvious. They got rid of Keenan Allen via trade to the Bears, and they lost. Well, they didn't lose. They literally just released Mike Williams, who then ended up signing with the New York Jets. In the end, I think that this is going to be the best option for them at fifth overall. Get a receiver for. Because honestly, Quentin Johnston is the only receiver for the Chargers that I can think of right now. And everyone else is like, who? Who is he going to throw to? Who is Justin Herbert going to throw to? So I think O'Dunes, fifth overall, is the best option for the Los Angeles Chargers. Now with the sixth overall pick, we got the New York Football Giants selecting wide receiver Malik Nabers out of LSU. Now, Malik is just as good as the other two, but honestly, I did not expect to go three quarterbacks first and then three receivers first. But that is what I'm saying is going to happen, as honestly, these three teams need receiving help. Although some of them do need offensive line help, I think Malik Nabers, O'Dunes, and Harrison going fourth, fifth, and sixth is the best option for each team. And why not take the top three receivers in this draft? And honestly, who knows? Maybe Malik Nabers turns into an excellent weapon for Daniel Jones. Now, moving on to the Tennessee Titans. With the seventh overall pick, they select tackle Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. Now, Joe Alt's going to be a very good tackle for Will Levis. They're going to have to do a lot. They got some good receivers in DeAndre Hopkins, and, well, I can say Calvin Ridley is a good receiver. He's just getting overpaid. But besides all that, offensive line, protect your future franchise quarterback. That is what you need to do in Tennessee. And I think Joe Alt would be the best guy available for the Tennessee Titans at 7th overall. Now with the 8th overall pick, we got the Atlanta Falcons selecting edge rusher Dallas Turner out of Alabama. Now, Dallas Turner, I think he's going to be an excellent pass rusher for the Atlanta Falcons. They got their quarterback in Kirk Cousins. They've got a good running game with Bijan Robinson. They got Kyle Pitts. They got Drake London. They could get some receiving help, but the three best receivers are off the board. So taking one of the best pass rushers in this draft would be just as good as getting a receiver. So in the end, I think that this is going to be helpful to the Atlanta Falcons defense. And who knows, maybe they'll be the ones winning the NFC South this year. Now with the 9th overall pick, we got the Chicago Bears selecting Olumuyiwa Fashanu, I think that's how you say it, offensive tackle out of Penn State. Now, in the end, Olu is going to be a very good offensive tackle for Caleb Williams. I think protecting your franchise quarterback and getting your franchise quarterback in the same draft is going to be a very good thing for the Chicago Bears. And this guy is one of the best. I think there's few others that could have gone 9th overall, but I do in fact believe the Chicago Bears taking Olu over any other tackle is the best option at 9th overall. Now with the 10th overall pick, we got the New York Football Jets selecting Tyrese Fuaga, offensive tackle out of Oregon State. You need offensive linemen. I'm saying this straight up. I think they got Morgan Moses from the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not sure about that, but they need more. They need to protect Aaron Rodgers after what happened to him last year, where he only played 4 snaps. That is insane. He played 4 snaps and snapped his ankle. So how about getting him the protection he needs so that your franchise quarterback, for however long it's going to be, remains upright for the remainder of the season as the New York Jets potentially make playoffs this year. Now with the 11th overall pick, we got the New England Patriots, after trading down with the Minnesota Vikings, selecting quarterback J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. This guy is a very good quarterback, and he's a national champion, but that doesn't mean he's going to be successful. Although I think J.J. McCarthy should be benched, the same reason for Caleb, the same reason for Drake, and the same reason for Jaden. In the same reason, and that is getting benched for, I think their quarterback is Jacoby Brissett. Bench him, get him ready for the end of the year, start him, see what you got, and then Next year, potentially, depending on how well he does in training camp, then give him the opportunity to start. And once you got a good quarterback behind you, all you have to do next is build a team around them. And that is potentially JJ McCarthy. Now, moving on to the 12th overall pick, where we got the Denver Broncos selecting Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo. If JJ McCarthy was still available, I think that the Broncos potentially take JJ McCarthy. Otherwise, I don't think McCarthy would have been selected at all in the first round if he had dropped further from 11. Then you get on to the fact that Quinyon Mitchell will be a very good corner for the Denver Broncos. And honestly, the Denver Broncos need help on both defense and offense. They're still paying off Russell Wilson after releasing him this offseason. So they're not going to really have that much cap space. So they're going to have to start getting maybe some rookies that they can draft and then keep for a long time until they have to pay them. But for right now, quarterback might not be the option right now. But if JJ McCarthy was there, it would probably be him going 12th overall. Now, with the 13th overall pick, we got the Las Vegas Raiders selecting the best cornerback in the draft, Terrion Arnold, corner out of Alabama. Now, you're probably thinking, why Quinyon Mitchell first? Why select him over Terrion Arnold, Denver? Well, I just think he fits Denver better than Arnold does. And Arnold being the best corner, and I think that the secondary of the Raiders could need some help. I think that Arnold would be the best guy to select right now. And the Raiders, under Antonio Pierce, will be a force to be reckoned with, as this guy is going to potentially give the Raiders, potentially, not saying it definitively, but potentially gets the Raiders to the playoffs. Now on to the 14th overall pick, where we got the New Orleans Saints selecting Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver out of LSU. Now, obviously, top 3 receivers are gone, so take the best available. That's Brian Thomas Jr. Honestly, very good receiver and could help Derek Carr with the New Orleans Saints potentially making the playoffs. You never know. But in the end, as long as he got guys to throw to and they protect Derek Carr, I think that the New Orleans Saints, with Brian Thomas Jr. getting majority of the catches from Derek Carr, will most likely potentially make the playoffs. Now on to the 15th overall pick, where I have the Indianapolis Colts selecting Cooper DeJean, cornerback out of Iowa. Now you're probably thinking, why not go with the lineman? Who's going to protect AR5? How you call him? Anthony Richardson. But I'm thinking, let's look at it logically, more logically. With a better defense, you're going to put less pressure on the quarterback. Because let's say they keep him, the other team at 0, and the offense is up 17-0. That's going to be a lot of weight off of the quarterback. But that doesn't mean they shouldn't draft an offensive lineman in this draft at all. They should definitely get some offensive linemen to protect their franchise quarterback in the future. Now, with the 16th overall pick, we got my Seattle Seahawks selecting Byron Murphy, defensive lineman out of Texas. I have had this guy, I think, in my previous 2 mock drafts. He was the one. It's going to be a defensive lineman. I don't think they're going to go quarterback. Michael Penix is not going to go off the board in the first round. But in the end, I do in fact believe that this guy could help the Seattle Seahawks run stopping game, because honestly, one of the things that they need help with is the defensive line. Secondary, sure, but I think Tariq Woolen, maybe more the secondary when I say the safeties, since they got rid of Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams, maybe there. But in the end, I think that the Seattle Seahawks taking Byron Murphy will be the one to help their defensive line get to the quarterback and stop the run. Now, moving on to the 17th overall pick, where we got the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting edge rusher Jared Verse out of Florida State. Best edge rusher available at this point. And honestly, I think that the edge rushing game, maybe Josh Allen and Jared Verse going after quarterbacks, is going to be a very good tandem for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they're going to be called the headhunters of the AFC South. And that's really what you're going to be. Basically, they're just going to be hitmen at quarterbacks. Because really, these two could be a dominant force for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, with the 18th overall pick, we got the Cincinnati Bengals selecting J.C. Latham, offensive tackle of Alabama. Now, obviously, protecting Burrow is one priority, but also creating holes for, well, obviously not Joe Mixon, but other running backs that the Bengals have is also crucial. And why not select one of the best offensive linemen in this draft in Latham with the 18th overall pick? It will definitely help the run and pass game. And honestly, I can't wait to see him as a Cincinnati Bengal protecting Joe Burrow. Now, with the 19th overall pick, we got the Los Angeles Rams selecting Laiatu Latu, edge rusher out of UCLA. Now, this is like the third best, I think, in the end. The third best in maybe fourth, depending on the situation. But Latu would definitely be going off here to the LA Rams. He'll be staying in LA. And to be honest, I think that this guy right here, he will be not the dominant guy that Aaron Donald was, but at least he will help fill the hole, the massive one, by the way, that Aaron Donald left behind. And that's something that you need to keep in mind. You no longer have Aaron Donald, so that basically that defensive powerhouse on the defensive line is now gone. So you need to fill it up with new guys that honestly almost have no chance of replicating what Aaron Donald did on the football field. Now, with the 20th overall pick, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers selecting Troy Fanatu, offensive tackle out of Washington. Now, what I believe is that Washington's Troy Fanatu will be going off with 20th overall because the Steelers would need offensive linemen to protect their, well, not franchise quarterback, but for the time being, Russell Wilson and their potential franchise quarterback in Justin Fields. Really, it all depends. But in the end, offensive lineman is the best option for the Steelers' 20th overall. Now, with the 21st overall pick, we got the Miami Dolphins selecting Graham Barton, offensive lineman out of Duke. This guy is honestly going to be one of the biggest run blockers for the Miami Dolphins. I think that he would be an excellent guard, maybe on the pull route, maybe just get him out on the pull, have the running backs follow right behind him. That'll be an excellent way to use him. You can also guarantee, well, not fully, but hopefully guarantee that he'll definitely 100% keep Tua upright. In the end, I see him as a very good selection for the Miami Dolphins. Now we go to the 22nd overall pick, where the Philadelphia Eagles select Amarius Mims, tackle out of Georgia. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, so this is the guy they're going to have protecting Kenny Pickett. Nah, this is the guy they're going to have protecting Jalen Hurts. Because obviously, even though they traded for Kenny Pickett in the offseason, yeah, Kenny's not going to be starting in Philly at all. So, I think that this is going to be a very good selection to not only pass block for Jalen Hurts, but you never know. Maybe on the outside run with Saquon Barkley, that's going to be a very good tandem to have in that backfield. And you got all the other Philly running backs. That offensive line has been the reason most Philly running backs are good and getting big paychecks. Now, on to the Minnesota Vikings, where they select at 23rd overall, Nate Wiggins, cornerback out of Clemson. Now, I would have selected an offensive lineman if Mims did not just go off the board. Otherwise, I would have had the Vikings selecting Mims. In the end, Nate Wiggins is not a bad corner. It's just the need. But in the end, I think that Wiggins going to the Vikings is going to be a very good selection for the Minnesota Vikings and their potential future with their quarterback, Jaden Daniels. And honestly, this defense might be something to look forward in the future. Maybe he turns into the next Xavier Rhodes. Now, on to the 24th overall pick, where we have the Dallas Cowboys selecting Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver out of Texas. Now, this kid's going to be staying in Texas. He's going to go from Austin to Dallas. In the end, I see this as an absolute win. You get more receiving help for Dak Prescott, or depending on if you get rid of Prescott the next year, who knows, and you go with Trey Lance, you at least have some receiving help. I know you got CeeDee Lamb, but honestly, what's another wide receiver going to do for a Dallas Cowboys offense? And I think that that's going to be a very good option for the Dallas Cowboys. Now on to the 25th overall pick, where you have the Green Bay Packers selecting Kool-Aid McKinnister, cornerback out of Alabama. Now, Kool-Aid's going to be a very good corner. Maybe not to the level of Jair Alexander, but still having Alexander on one side and Kool-Aid McKinnister on the other, that's going to be a very good option for the Green Bay Packers on defense. I don't think he's going to be put up against the top receivers of the opposing team, but that doesn't mean he can't go up against the second best or even the third best receiver as a slot corner. In the end, I see Kool-Aid McKinnister going to Green Bay and helping out that defense. Now with the 26th overall pick, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting Demiwan Robinson. I don't think I said that correctly, but okay. Out of Penn State, edge rusher. Now, honestly, they've lost a few guys, obviously. But I think that this guy is going to be a very good pass rusher for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're not in the... Well, really, they're not in the best division since they're all really like meh teams. But in the end, I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will hit on their draft pick if they select this guy, 26th overall. Now with the 27th overall pick, we got the Arizona Cardinals selecting Zerzon Newton, defensive lineman out of Illinois. Now, in the end, I think that needing defensive line help, I know they need offensive line help too, but I think defensive line is right now going to go over offensive line at this point in the draft. And this guy's honestly going to be a very good tackle DT for him, for the Arizona Cardinals. So in the end, you get some pressure on that quarterback of the opposing team. And honestly, I can't wait to see how this guy performs in the NFL. Now with the 28th overall pick, we got the Buffalo Bills selecting wide receiver Xavier Worthy out of Texas. This is the obvious replacement for Stefon Diggs. Sorry, Trevon's the corner in Dallas. But this is most likely the Stefon Diggs replacement. Not entirely, but y'all know. In the end, the Bills they don't have that much cap for veteran receivers, so it was obvious that they were going to trade Stefon and to the Houston Texans. Now they get a Texan, a Texas draftee to replace Stefon Diggs. In the end, I think that they're going to be very good with the Buffalo Bills. This guy and Josh Allen, I can't wait for them to be a 1-2 combo. Now with the 29th overall pick, we got the Detroit Lions selecting Jackson Powers Johnson, offensive lineman out of Oregon. Offensive line help. You need offensive line help. In the end, I think that they need more help on the run game rather than the pass game. That's why I go with Powers Johnson. I think he played center, but moving him to guard might be an option at this point. So I think that this is going to be a very good pick for the Detroit Lions. And Jared Goff will be well protected, and his running backs would also have great run blocking from Powers Johnson. Now on to the 30th overall pick, where the Baltimore Ravens select offensive tackle Tyler Guyton, and out of Oklahoma. But in the end, this pick is going to be basically protect your quarterback. That's what it is. Protect your quarterback being Lamar Jackson, who runs a lot. So why not get him a tackle that can protect his blind side or potentially the right side of the field? Who knows? In the end, I think Tyler Guyton will be like the best option for the Baltimore Ravens. And I think this is the last offensive lineman actually selected in the first round. So after this, you'll not be seeing a single offensive lineman in the first round. Now with the 31st overall pick, the defending NFC champion, San Francisco 49ers select edge rusher Darius Robinson out of Missouri. Now, obviously, they lost Chase Young, but hey, why not get someone to be on the same side with Nick Bosa? And honestly, I think that this guy could be that guy. Robinson and Bosa just getting to the quarterback. That's going to be a 1-2 combo to see in the NFL every single day in every single game. So, without further ado, I think that this guy will be selected 31st overall. Now, with the final pick of the first round, 32nd overall, we got the defending, undisputed, back-to-back Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs selecting Ladd McConkey, the wide receiver out of Georgia. Now, receiver, after getting Marquise Hollywood Brown. Yes, I think that is going to be the case. Sky Moore has not been performing as well as he should. And really, they didn't have that much receiving help. Most of his receivers just dropped the ball. So, Ladd McConkey will most likely be one of those rotational guys that come in and out while taking the brute all the other receivers, either that being the defense. That would either be Travis Kelce or Marquise Hollywood Brown. And you get this guy on the short routes all open, and then he just gets on for a huge gain after that. But in the end, I think that this is going to be a very good pick, and most likely it doesn't matter who the Chiefs pick. They can literally just pick and still be good. Now, that was it for the mock draft of 2024's NFL Draft Pre-Draft. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Who do you think should have gone first? Who do you think should have gone last in the first round? And if you think I got it wrong or right, tell me down in the comments below. Now, like this video if you liked it, subscribe, and hit the notification if you want more videos. And I'll see you guys next time.